It's finally over. After 74 years of grueling agony, January is over, the worst month of the year for game releases, and just in general, as the new year, new me is already failing for most people at this point. And for us who love video games, January is always the driest month for new releases. For me and my personal interests, nothing other than Code Vein 2 even remotely took my interest. But even that, I'm more than happy to wait on a sale for, as I have more than enough Souls-likes to keep me occupied for a while. But now January is over and February is here, and February has been notorious in recent years for having some of the biggest and best games of the year release within the short month of February. Some that come to mind being Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Helldivers 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Horizon Forbidden West, and probably the biggest one is Elden Ring. And this February is also lining up to be a big one, with some pretty notable releases including Nioh 3, Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, High on Life 2, Reanimal, Yakuza 3 Kiwami, and most notably, Resident Evil Requiem. This February actually might be the most stacked February I've seen in recent memory, if every game I mention manages to meet expectations. But that, once again, means there are some notable releases that will unfortunately go under the radar compared to the other big releases. And the title I wanted to highlight is one I've been following closely since it was announced, and that of course is Demon Tides. So if this is your first time seeing Demon Tides, what is it and why do I think it's worth your time? Well, Demon Tides is a sequel to the indie platformer Demon Turf, a quirky little game that blends 2D characters with 3D environments, and you play as Beebs, a 1,000-year-old demon girl who has to make her way through 4 worlds known as Turfs on her way to beat the Demon King and usurp his throne. This was headed up by indie studio Fabraz as a love letter to 3D platformers of the late 90s and early 2000s, games such as Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine, and when it released in 2021 for consoles and PC, it did fairly well for itself, but it didn't light the world on fire. But not too long afterwards, Fabraz announced that the development on the sequel had begun under the name Project Tides, which leaves us with the game we now know as Demon Tides. Demon Tides looks like what a sequel should be, an improvement in every way based on what we have been shown so far and what I've been able to play of it. Production value is a jump up from Demon Turf this time round. Everything is 3D, not just the environment. All the characters have gone from 2.5D to 3D. I'm not saying that the characters looked bad in Demon Turf, but there's just so much more personality in the 3D models, as the game exudes personality, not only with the characters, but with how they're written as well. This time around, Beebs and her crew are sailing through her father's kingdom, Ragnar's Rock, on the search for adventure, and going to many different varied islands in an open archipelago. The story though isn't what the main focus of Demon Tides is, as Fabraz themselves have said you can jump into Demon Tides without having played Demon Turf, but there's going to be some Easter eggs for anyone who played the previous game. So with a fun looking art style and a quirky story, let's get into what the meat and potatoes of Demon Tides experience is, and that's the gameplay experience. As Super Mario 64 and Sunshine definitely aren't beloved for their gripping narratives, no, they are beloved and are a big inspiration to Fabraz due to their fluid movement in a 3D space. And that's what Demon Tides is all about. And I stand by the fact that a 3D platformer lives and dies with how it controls, and after playing the demo for Demon Tides, I can confidently say that Demon Tides feels as good, if not better, than the games it takes inspiration from. It's quick, it's fluid, and it's very expressive. You have so much freedom to do what you need to do, it's just a joy to play. And the gameplay that I'm showing here is mine, and I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not doing this any sort of justice, as I'm not built for the sort of speedrunner tricks that Demon Tides gameplay is built around. And anyone who loves speedrunning in games will definitely want to keep an eye on Demon Tides, as you can compete with other players for the best times in certain areas of the open world map, which, again, is different from Demon Turf. Beebs will be traversing the sea of Ragnar Rock on a boat in a massive archipelago filled with platforming challenges aplenty, and there's also plenty of stuff for Beebs to collect, including some nice outfit changes for Beebs to rock, but there's also modifiers for Beebs and her movement, so you can build Beebs into the character that you feel is right for you. But despite the game having all this openness and freedom for platformer fanatics, it's also very accessible to someone like me who couldn't even begin to imagine pulling some of the tricks off that I've seen that you can do in Demon Tides. Another cool aspect to Demon Tides that I thought I would mention is how the checkpoints work. As in most games, they give you a checkpoint as you progress through the level, but they work a bit different in Demon Tides, as you can choose where to put your checkpoints, as you have all this freedom to attempt all these challenges, that some of them are going to require some high level platforming ability. So being able to leave a checkpoint wherever you want, so you can try one thing and it doesn't work out, no problem, give it another go. Demon Tides really is looking to be a platformer for platformer mega fans and casual fans alike. The way that Demon Tides has been described is imagine Bowser's Fury and Wind Waker mashed together, and that's Demon Tides. And honestly, to me at least, that's enough to convince me that I want to give Demon Tides a go when it's fully released on the 19th of February. And honestly, if anything about the game sounds remotely interesting to you, there is a free demo on Steam that you can give a go to see if it's for you or not. And if after everything I've said still isn't enough to convince you to at least give Demon Tides a go, then GVG legend John Cartwright voices the main villain of this game, and that is awesome, as John is great and I'm sure he's going to smash that role. Demon Tides is due to release on February 19th on Steam, with console ports hopefully coming soon, as I'll be getting it on PlayStation day one and getting that Platinum Trophy. And hopefully Demon Tides is a big success for Raz, because from the little I've played of both Demon Tides and Bubsy 4D, another 3D platformer they're working on, they definitely deserve all the success in the world. If you stay to the end, thank you. I really do appreciate it. And please let me know if you plan on picking up Demon Tides, and please, if you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing, as it helps out massively. So thank you again for watching, and hopefully I will see you again.